All right, in this video, we're going to talk about some of the key attributes that you need to be able to make sure that you do to get the most out of your discovery. A lot of times people focus so heavily on the questions that we ask, and the questions we ask are great because those questions are going to garner responses from a customer, but we need to make sure that we do these following things around active listening and having some emotional intelligence that are going to allow us to be able to continue to have the customer open up to us as much as possible. Because if we just ask questions and we're just waiting to talk, then are we active listening? For me, one of the great things about Llama, the way we overcome objections, is that you actually have to listen to them. And so one of the things I really like to do is, especially when they say out loud a thing that I know will align with my selling point, is I repeat it back to them. So what I'm hearing you say is, and I don't say it back to them word to word, but I then paraphrase so I can confirm the understanding. But essentially what I'm doing is I'm placing a stamp or a bookmark on that process. I'm writing notes the whole time they're talking. I'm over here writing notes, and I am remembering those things. I'm paraphrasing it back to them right as they say them, and then I might ask clarifying questions so I can seek to understand. But so often salespeople are not listening, they're waiting to talk. And if you are waiting to talk, then you'll miss a lot of what the customer says. I'm a firm believer that the best salespeople are not the ones that are the smoothest talkers, or even the ones that ask the best questions, but the ones who listen the best to what the customer says and then use the customer's words to their advantage in how they position the product. One of the other things that's super important, and guys, some of you guys are going to do presentations in person, and there's a very big distinct advantage to being able to do them in person because there are verbal cues, there are languages that you can have without saying words. There's body languages, and there are different verbal, nonverbal cues that go along with the verbal cues that you guys are having. You can do the same thing on virtual meetings, but that's why it's almost imperative. I will not do a presentation with a prospective client if they're unwilling to be on video with me where I can see them and they can see me. Look, guys, I've done thousands of sales calls over virtual meetings. If they're not on video, I only assume they're not paying attention. I only assume they're looking at their phone, they're desking a deal, they're doing something else of importance, not completely giving me their undivided attention. So if they're unwilling to be on the camera, then I start every single meeting off and say, hey, we'll get started when you're able to get the camera up and running. I want to be able to see who I'm talking to because I want to make sure that I'm able to solve this problem best ability. So in my verbal and nonverbal cues, there will be verbal affirmations. Got it. Okay. Makes total sense. I understand. I heard that before. These are examples of verbal cues. Makes sense. Do this. But there are other verbal cues like nodding that are going to do leaning in, taking notes. All of these things are cues of acknowledgement. There are things that you can do that are going to be able to help the customer feel more comfortable and open up. There's times where even hesitations and a brief level of silence before you answer gives you even better clarity in how you do this. I would remove all assumptions when you talk to a customer and going back and asking them to clarify that, this is what I heard you say. Did I understand this correctly? Making sure they know what they said was heard, and you're going to use that against them or to their benefit in the very near future when you solve problems. And when it comes to the emotional intelligence side, them being able to see you is important, but you being able to see them. I always tell my sales reps that one of the things you need to do is you need to find the energy and the tone of your customer, and you need to match it +1. If you've got a super low energy customer and you're just like, hey, super high energy, you're probably going to turn them off. And the same thing, if you've got a high energy, super excited guy and you're super low energy, that also is not going to speak to their personality. I would tell you, be calculated, be able to match their energy, be able to acknowledge them unemotionally, and keep everything factual. Whether they agree with you or disagree with you, maintain control of the conversation and how you're delivering your communication, and you'll find customers continuing to open up with you. Why we don't sell until way after the discovery is over is because As soon as we start selling, the customer's guard goes up and they're less willing to sell. So the longer you can make them feel like you're just asking questions so that you can understand what they're going through without the common mistake of trying to solve them in the discovery, then customers will continue to do that. And once you've uncovered everything you can do, every rock is unturned, then you transition to the soft close, but not until then.